Hi, I want to do a review of some coffee scales. So we're kind of getting into coffee. We just bought an ECM Synchronika espresso machine. And one of the things you need in order to make good espresso is you need to be able to quantify how much coffee is going into the portafilter and how much liquid you're extracting from it, and then the time. So we needed an accurate usable, functionable scale. We had this is what we've been using. This is just your typical OXO kitchen scale. So that I just bringing this out as kind of a reference from where we started. And we ordered this and this. So this is the Timemore Black Mirror Basic Coffee Panel. And this is the Acaia Lunar Scale. And I'm gonna kind of compare most of these two, just maybe use that a little bit just for reference. Now, just to be really clear, I bought all three of these. This one's going back. So that's the reason I'm doing the review now. Normally I'd want to use something for a year or two so I actually understood it. But because this is going back into whence it came, I kind of have to do the review now, which is a little sooner than I want to. I bought all these. I have no affiliation to these products. I'm not even going to post a link. You can find this video. You can find these products yourself. Maybe find a coupon and get them cheaper. I don't know. But this is just purely what I picked and why. And hopefully this will help somebody else maybe with their decision-making process. All right, let's talk about these two first. So I'm going to move these out of the way. We're going to just kind of talk about how these work. So the Timemore comes in a nice box. There's the box. Comes with two accessories. It has this little, now this uses a USB-C connector. That's this little guy. It's kind of round. And then it's got this little black non-slip panel that goes on top. The Acaia Lunar comes with a traditional micro USB plug. It comes also very similarly with a little black silicone mat. It comes with these either non-skid or non-slip little strips that you can stick on the bottom, and I've already stuck a pair on the bottom of this. And most importantly, it comes with a reference weight so that you can calibrate this back to its 100-gram calibration weight. This one is made in China, designed in China. This one is designed in California, made in Taiwan. This one's probably made in China, who knows? Now, I can tell you the feel of these, which is kind of going to be a hard thing to demonstrate. This is very plasticky. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's basically plastic. It looks really cool. Like when you see it, like I'll put it right here, it just looks like a plate. You can't even tell it's a scale until you touch the corner, and then the display becomes visible. So I really like that part of it, but it is very, very plasticky. This is aluminum, and it's an anodized aluminum, and it's really nice to hold. I mean, believe it or not, they weigh about the same, even though they're completely different sizes. This just feels really nice. The best description I can give you, this is like an Acer computer, like one of those cheap basic plastic computers. This is like a MacBook Pro. You can just tell. This is much, much better built. Let's talk about waterproofness. Okay, in espresso, you're gonna drip water on them. That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna get water on these. From the top, I wouldn't worry about water on either one of these. But if you go underneath, let me see if I can show you here. I don't know if I can get the angle right. Can you see the electronics in there? So the design's the same. They've created a complete cover, and then they've taken the lower panel and beveled it so it's kind of underneath like that. So the lower panel extends above where the upper panel bends over. But if you drop these both in water, they're going to short out. There's no doubt. Also, they had to put the connection for the outlet for plugging in the micro USB or plugging in the USB-C connector above this bend over piece. So it's definitely not something you want to get wet, right? So pretty much an even score on that. Now, a big difference obviously is the size. This thing is honking. Let me hold them up next to each other. I mean, you can see, this is nearly 60% of the size on the height, and then just overall size, there's no comparison. I mean, this thing is big. It's big. And this would be a problem for a lot of espresso machines, I think. And it turns on all the time. So that alone is going to sell me to this. Just the size alone. The build quality definitely sells me towards this. Now, let's look at another issue. So size can be good from sticking it underneath trying to get it under the portafilter. But what about a portafilter? Let's see if it fits. So I'm going to put the little black plastic pieces on both of these. So this will be first. This will be easy. I'll go ahead and start it up here. I'll put on this is an ECM 58 millimeter standard heavy duty portafilter, commercial style portafilter, and zero it out. Fits on there, no problems. If I put a weight in here to simulate coffee, there it is, shows 100 grams in there. Works great, no problem. Pretty easy in the hand just to set it on here any direction, not having any issues. Obviously, you have to do a little care, but fits on there, no problem. Now, will it fit? Give it a second here, let it wake up. Will this fit? All right, so I'll put it on here. All right, we'll hit the tare feature, and we'll put 100 grams in here. And it does indeed, folks. So this will fit a portafilter. It's not pretty, but there's like a plate accessory. You don't need that. Particularly if my portafilter, as you can see, bends down. It's got this kind of lowered handle. So that helps a huge amount. And I'm not using a bottomless portafilter, although bottomless might even work better. I don't know. I don't have one. But there you go. So it fits that. This portafilter is what I use most of the time, the double. So no problems. Fits on there. You could absolutely use it to measure a portafilter if you happen to have the ECM style portafilters. So let's test accuracy here. So let's tare both of these. Okay, so I don't know if this is a 100 gram weight exactly. I don't have a instrument precise enough to measure it, but let's just assume it is. 100 on the nose, 100.1. Okay, pretty darn close. I don't see a major issue with that. It's just a teeny bit off. One thing I'll say is you can recalibrate this scale. You cannot recalibrate this scale. So a little bit of an issue, because if it starts to get off over time, there's no way to bring this one back to the correct position. Couple other things on these scales. So obviously we talked about recalibrate. They both have built-in batteries. I don't know what the internal batteries are. They're not replaceable. I'm not going to say that someone with a little electrical experience couldn't figure out how to open them up and swap out a battery, but it's theoretically non-replaceable. So obviously that's going to be degrading over time. Micro USB, USB-C, if that makes a difference. I actually prefer micro USB because I happen to have an easy way to charge that without even having to use this cheap cord. Let's look at some of the functionality, and then we'll pour a little bit and I'll show you how to use it. Now, one thing I do not like about this scale, let me zoom in a scoosh to show you this stuff. All right, there we go. I love the way it looks when it's off. I mean, that's just slick. I'll turn this one off so we can see them next to each other. And I'll even take the plastic off. I like the look of this, but just the fact that this is just continuous, I mean, it's really cool. I kind of like that idea. You can't even tell it's a scale. It just looks like a little plinth. However, when you turn it on, the display shines through this plastic finished top, but you always have a timer function. You can't get rid of that timer function on this one. I have an ECM Synchronika. The Synchronika part, or the sync part of that, is the fact that when I start to pull the shot, it starts a shot timer exactly when I started the full shot. So I really like that. I don't really need this timer feature at all. And I don't like that I can't move this in the middle and get the timer feature gone. Particularly if you put a portafilter on here, you might end up putting it where you block this part. It'd be great if you could just move this to the middle. Not an option. Can't do that. Couple features it has. There's the battery status. A is for auto start. So this has the feature of it will start the timer when you start to add fluid into your espresso cup. So if we put it on here, let's see if we can simulate that. So I'll tear the cup. I'll hit this. And then, so now if I add fluid, you can see my shot timer started. And then it should stop because the fluid should stabilize. And then I think it would stop, maybe. All right, maybe not. But you can see the shot timer started obviously with fluid application. So kind of useful, kind of have that shot timer if you don't have a way to figure out when you're adding fluid to have a timer automatically start. So just a feature they have. I don't need it. I wouldn't find that as useful. So, but something you can add. Now you can turn that feature off if you tap this a whole bunch of times. That auto feature goes away. And now it's just an old school start the clock, stop the clock. The beeping I found kind of annoying, but thankfully they found it annoying too. So to turn the beeping off, you just hold this down and you keep holding it. And there you go. Now it won't beep at you. So I like that. You know, as I push buttons, it doesn't beep anymore. So there you go. That's the way that one works. Now let's look at this guy for a second. So this guy, when you flip it on, it does a calibration, little initial thing. I like this a lot more because it's a much larger display as far as the numbers. It's easier to see. It has a few features. You can change it. This is just straight weight. Let me see if I can, there you go. Now I have weight and shot timer. Now I have, and I'm kind of new to this, so I just want to make sure I read it right. It has timer start with flow mode. It has auto tear timer start with flow mode. It has auto tear start with timer mode. And then this is auto tear mode. And I really like this. Auto tear mode is super helpful for me because what I would normally do is put a cup on here and then it's gonna auto tear that. Love that. That's very helpful. Plus, single display, I don't need the timer function. Winner. I like that. I really like the way they've kind of designed that. So typically, if you were single dosing, you wouldn't be weighing what's going into the portafilter because you would assume that the doser was single dosing the correct amount because you've already pre-weighed it. So it would just be living up on top of this, up on top of the drip tray area, and you would just be auto tearing all the time. And then when you pull this off, it tears back to zero. And if we put on a smaller cup, same functionality, auto tears. You start adding fluid. We add our fluid. And then on this one, it's kind of interesting. Let me bring it back to zero. Let me see if I can add some fluid. Let's do it up here on the machine. That'll be better. Let's show the functionality and the way it's actually designed to work. So I'm gonna put this up here, put in my portafilter, and let's get you guys where you can actually see it. There we go. Okay, I don't actually have the machine on, but I have line pressure, so I can just turn it on. So it's auto-teared. So now it's adding the fluid. Let's say we pull the perfect shot, 36 or so, or I screw up just like that, 41. All right, got my shot, I take it off, and then it will actually blink, telling me what the amount that I pulled was, which was 48.7 grams. I really, really like that. That's so helpful the way they've designed that. Let's bring the other scale up just to see how that would work. So first off, a lot higher, just the height is gonna start to be an issue. So let's put in this is pretty big latte cup here. Let's go ahead and tear this guy. Sorry, let me bring that back on. Okay, so there it's teared. Let's go with the auto. And try to get the auto timer feature working. Okay, there we go. Let's try the auto timer. Huh, didn't like that. Give me a second. I think I have to push a button here. There we go. Yeah, I confused it. Okay, now it's thinking about it. It's going to tare the weight. There's the shot clock ready. Let's start pulling fluid. And there's the auto time feature. So it does work. It's telling me my weight. It's telling me my time. I'm adding it. Now let's see if we shut it off, whether it stops the timer. Give it a second here. It doesn't seem to stop the timer. I guess you'd have to push the button to stop the timer. And you could stop the timer. There you go. I don't know. I wouldn't use the timer feature. I don't love this. First off, the height is an issue. Secondly, on my machine, one of the issues you're going to have is that the group head spurts water out on the back. So you'd have to have this thing hanging over. If you put it completely under, you'd end up getting water on this thing every single time. And on top of that, it'd be backed by this little USB-C connector. It's going to squirt water all over there. That would not be good. I think over time that would cause water to get in there, ingress in that spot, and that would be a problem. So just size-wise, let me just show you. It's pretty big. I don't love that. This guy, oh, it's perfect. The size is perfect. The big thing I'm concerned about is back here, guys. You see this little spout at the bottom of the group head and the little hole, the water comes out of here. This is how it releases the pressure. And so it's gonna squirt water on your scale if it goes back that far. This little guy, this huge guy, it never worked because it's so big, it's gonna get wet every time. This is perfect. All right, so let's do the same test with that. Let's do the auto tear. Let's see how it works. All right, we add the fluid. Timer's tear feature worked. I'm done with my shot. I stop my shot. Stabilizes, grab my coffee, spits out the number that it came up with, which was 42.4. So, and I like how it keeps flashing the number. That tells you what it is. That way you can kind of go, oh, it's a little over extracted, a little under extracted. I don't know, whatever it is for the time. You have a good way of kind of coming back to repeatability. Let me see if I can redo the, let's go mode here. And again, I'm kind of new to this, so. All right, there is shot timer. So what I want to try to set up for you guys is timer starts with flow mode. All right, that's what we are. Nope, we're not quite on there. All right, timer starts with flow mode. So this is the same idea as what we just did on the other one. I'll take the big honkin' latte cup. Fits, no problem. Let's tear that out. Dog's freaking out. Turn the water on. And there's the timer started. No problem. And we'll stop it. and it actually stopped the time. So easy decision, guys. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. This thing is so much better than the other one. So just to wrap it up, guys, why do I love this so much more than this one? Why is this one going back? Features. The features on this, the build quality, everything about this one is so much nicer. The fact that you can the fact that you can you can calibrate this, the user interface, the design, the materials, the fact that the display is bigger, you can adjust the display just the way you want it. It came with a calibration weight. It will fit my portafilter. It is no doubt, this is the one I'm going to keep. Now, you're paying a lot of money for a little tiny scale, but I kind of feel like I'm getting some of that value out of that money. I don't know if I'm getting the full value, but it's in the end, guys, if you have the money and it accomplishes the job and that one does not, and you have to compromise a bunch, I'd rather just get the one that doesn't compromise. So this thing's gorgeous. It's staying. That one's going back in the box. All right, I hope that helps somebody trying to make the decision between those two. Just for reference sake, this will work. So I just want to show this. Didn't get a chance to compete. It's like it showed up to the competition and I snubbed it by not even letting it compete. So we'll zero it out. This thing is super simple. Turn on the water, feed it some fluid, shut it off. Works perfect. It's a scale. It's super easy. It goes to 5 kilograms. None of these guys will go to 5 kilograms. The display detaches, so if you have a really big thing, you can detach the display and move it around. Here's why this doesn't work. I don't like that it doesn't auto zero or tear like this does. The tearing feature on this is super nice, the auto tear. Another thing is it doesn't have the decimal. So this will just say 38 grams. This would say 38.2 grams, 38.5. So you're going to get more accuracy with one of these. It's going to give you a lot more accuracy. Let's put the 100 gram weight on here and see how accurate this one is. Sorry. Come on. Oh, that's kilograms. Go back to grams, zero it. 100, 100. They're all really accurate, guys. I mean, if this was what you got, you can absolutely do it. It's not as nice as this. Probably the biggest single reason that this has to not be the scale is size. This thing is massive. I mean, it's so thick and it's so big. It got water on it every single time. In order to get this thing to work, you have to have it like almost teetering off the edge. This is the correct size. This is a little large. This is ginormous. It definitely will not work. As far as weighing things though, they all work really well. I don't see a huge difference in accuracy between these. I'm pretty sure they're using similar type technology in all of them. It's not like you're getting insanely accurate numbers from one versus the other. But yeah, they all work. But for my money, this is where we're going. All right, I hope that was helpful. I hope that shows you how this works. Sorry for the dog and all the craziness of people coming home from school, but I hope that helps somebody else out there and they can kind of decide which one to go with. All right, good luck.